This is the best Lost Zone deck from the new Pokemon card set, Lost Origin. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchanning here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game online deck tech, and today I want to cover what I think is the best Lost Zone deck in the Pokemon trading card game, the best way to play the Lost Zone engine, and the best way to use these Lost Zone cards, and that is a single prize Lost Zone box. I call it the Lost Box. This list, I think, is honestly perfect, or at the very least near perfect. I think that this is the best way to play a single prize kind of Lost Zone deck. I mean, you can shuffle a few cards around here and there, but I really think this is the best way to play it and to play the Lost Zone. So what does this whole deck revolve around? This whole deck revolves around using single prize Pokemon and their attacks for little to no energy, and I'm going to go through all of them now. So our engine is the Comfey engine with the flower selecting ability. Pick the top two cards of your deck if this Pokemon is in the active spot, one in your hand, the other in the Lost Zone. Now we can use this multiple times with multiple Comfey, because we have 4 of them, thanks to Escape Rope, thanks to Scoop Up Net, thanks to Switch Cart, thanks to like Air Balloon, and using all these kinds of cards to swap our active Pokemon around and scoop up and reset the ability in order to get a lot of cards in the Lost Zone really quickly. And then our main attacker for this deck is Cramorant with the Lost Provisions ability. If you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you just ignore all energy in this Pokemon's attack cost. Now, very, very powerful. 110 for free, not affected by weakness, but that's not too bad. Combined with Articuno from Pokemon Go. The Ice Symbol ability lets your basic water Pokemon, except any Articuno, do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, that's a pretty good deal, I would say, right? You can bump this Cramorant up to 140 damage, 170 with a Choice Belt, which we have 3 of in the deck. And other Pokemon, we have Sableye as a late game attacker for the Lost Mine attack. If we have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, which we usually will by about our 3rd turn of the game, you can put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like, and you can use this attack for just 1 energy attachment. We also have a Radiant Charizard in here for a late game big KO with Combustion Blast, because the Excited Heart ability lets its attack cost 1 colorless less for each prize card our opponent has taken. So, you know, your opponent takes 4 prize cards, you can use Combustion Blast, close out the game for a single energy. And then we have Manaphy in here just to make sure that we don't get destroyed by Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja, as popular as ever now, thanks to the Mirage Gate card, which lets you attach 2 energy from your deck to your Pokemon in any way you like. Just power up Greninja in 1 turn, basically. Now, in terms of search, we have 4 Battle VIP Pass, 3 Fog Crystal, which can get us our Psychic Pokemon or our Psychic Energy. We actually have a Hisuian Heavy Ball to get our 1-ofs out of the prize cards. And then we have 4 Quick Ball, a lot of Pokemon search in this deck to ensure we get the Pokemon that we need. And other than that, we have a single Training Court just so we can retrieve our energies, because we don't have too many. We only have 2 Fire and 2 Psychic, so we can get those back from the discard pile. We have 4 Pokégear to find our limited count of supporters. We only have 6 supporters in the deck. 4 Colress Experiment, which allows us to look at the top 5 cards, 3 in our hand, 2 in the Lost Zone, and 2 Marnie, because what I find with Lost Zone decks, especially if you are versing decks like Giratina or Goodra or whatever, any deck that plays the Lost Zone engine will have a massive hand of cards. By, like, I don't know, maybe their 3rd or 4th turn, they'll have so many cards. And games are going to tend to be a little bit longer with this deck because it's all single prize Pokemon. We don't play a Crobat, we don't play Luminion, we don't play any 2 prize Pokemon even for support. So your games are going to be a little bit longer than usual. And with Marnie, you can Marnie their hand down to 4 cards, which is kind of going to be a shock to them if they can't find cards and put them in the Lost Zone like they were able to in the early game, because they've already used so much resources. So Marnie is a really good disruption, a really nice tech in Lost Zone decks. And then apart from that, we just have our tools. We have 2 Air Balloon and we have 3 Choice Belt to help us do those numbers that help us 2-shot, go from 3-shotting to 2-shotting V-Stars and V-Maxes with Cramorant. And we also have 1 Big Parasol in here. This is simply because we don't want to fall victim to Sableye's Lost Mine attack ourselves, because Lost Mine can really disrupt our bench, and it also, you know, it also prevents against things like poison from Galarian Wheezing, prevents things like Giratina V-Stars, V-Star Power, prevents all that kind of stuff from happening to our Pokemon. So Big Parasol can be really, really good in here. As we see a lot of effects coming into the game now that people are using. So Big Parasol can stop those effects, and we'll just make our life a little bit easier. Now, that is my lost box list, and we're going to hop into some games and hopefully get some good ones. My opponent is calling the coin flip here with the Professor Juniper coin. We are winning the coin flip, so we're actually going to go second here. I'm going to give a taste of what first and second is like with this deck. This is an amazing second hand, for sure. We have the Comfey, we have the Colress, we have the Scoop Up Net, we have a Charizard in hand, actually, in case we need it, so we're not going to Lost Zone it by any means. And looks like we might be playing against a Palkia deck. Palkia is an interesting matchup for sure. However, if we can get an early KO on a Sableye, that would be incredible. Depending on what they start with, depending on what we draw, we'll see what happens. They're going to start a Palkia, but they might actually opt to switch into a Sableye to kind of preserve it. Or we can just get a guaranteed easy Palkia KO. And we have the Charizard in hand, which means we don't have to quick ball for it and reveal it, which means we don't have to risk it getting found out. Starmie is another good target for us too. Charizard can KO it with relative ease. Temple of Sinnoh doesn't do anything. Them getting no Sableyes out is actually very, very interesting. So we're going to go ahead and Comfey here. Grab this quick ball. Absolutely. Get another Comfey. I think we get rid of this Choice Belt here, because I know we have some other ones. We grab this other Comfey. So that's one in the Lost Zone. We are going to Scoop Up Net this Comfey and bring up the other one. And then Flower Selecting once again. I think we opt to grab Articuno so it can help us on our journey of getting, what's it called? Of getting our Cramorant's power up, that's what I meant to say. Now, Colress Experiment, we're going to grab Battle VIP, Articuno, and Colress once again. And now we have a guaranteed attack with Cramorant. That's just about it. So we're going to grab the Cram and grab this Articuno. And we're going to go for big damage on this Palkia here, because we can attach all of these and switch into the Cramorant, and boom. Spit innocently. 170 damage. Insane. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to guarantee knock out this Starmie, but another thing we could have done is escape roped into it and hit it to prepare it for a Lost Mine. Now, I don't see a Lost Mine in sight just yet, because we have a we don't have exactly like it in the hand, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you have a lot of Scoop Up Nets and you have a lot of switching cards out of your Comfey, you have it in the hand, you have that Lost Mine, we can just play it down anytime. We don't quite have that yet, so that's why I didn't want to set it up just yet, but it was very, very possible. My opponent grabbing a Radiant Greninja and a Scoop Up Net to hopefully try and draw through more of their deck and find the cards that they need. Grabbing that Capacious Bucket, using that to find 2 Water Energy, and that basically gives them 2 guaranteed Radiant Greninjas. So if they can find their Palkia V-Star here, they can actually, oh, and they have it, they can use it to get a guaranteed Subspace Swell, but them getting that one knockout is fine with me, because what they have to do is they have to conceal cards away in energy, draw 2 more, scoop up concealed cards away again, draw 2 more, and then use Star Portal to accelerate that energy, unless they have like a Melanie or something in their hand, and they can just accelerate with Melanie, saving that Star Portal. But they don't have another attacker on the board just yet, and they're going to scoop up that Greninja, play it again, like I predicted, and that Greninja could be a little bit of an issue for us if we don't get Manaphy out, which is what we're going to be looking for next. They have the other scoop up, so they're really going to go digging in this deck. That Greninja can knock out 2 of our Comfey, which is another reason why it's really good to always opt to grab a Colress from your Colress's Experiment to set you up for the next turn of draw. But we'll have to see what my opponent decides to do here. They have 3 energy in the discard, so they can Star Portal and start setting up their board pretty efficiently here. But we'll see what they ultimately decide to do. Debating maybe if they should go into the straight Greninja and get it ready. And in that case, we can just take a free knockout on the Palkia. Now, my opponent is actually going to attach to the Greninja, which means they're going to be using that Star Portal to start setting up their board. Attaching 1 to Palkia, 2 to Palkia, and 1 to Radiant Greninja. So getting that Radiant Greninja ready for next turn, very, very important for my opponent. So they can hope to keep even in the prize trade. They're going to knock out this Cramorant. And now we need quite a bit in order to, in order to do a lot here. But that's okay. I'm actually not super worried at all They're going to finally grab that Sableye. Amazing target for us for our Lost Mine capabilities. We can even one-shot this Greninja with a Cramorant. Our Cramorant just got knocked out for 220, but we don't really care about that just yet. We can also use Lost Mine on this Palkia if we had the ability to, but we don't have that quite yet. So we're going to grab that Comfey, and we're going to start Flower selecting here. I'm not thinking that we're going to grab a Fire Energy. I'm thinking we're going to grab a Quick Ball. And I'm going to use a Colress Experiment here. I think a Choice Belt could be helpful. I think a Quick Ball, and I think maybe a Scoop Up Net would be good as well. No supporter just yet, but that's okay because we already have 7 cards in League Lost Zone so far. So I'm going to play the Training Court so I can Quick Ball away this energy. Grab myself a Cramorant, and then I can get the Fire Energy back into my hand. Now, I can knock this Palkia out by just doing 140 damage, so I don't need to play this Choice Belt right now. But I'm debating. No, I definitely just take the knockout here. We're going to scoop this guy up, bring in the Cram, and we'll keep him in the hand, actually, for now. And then we're just going to spit innocently, taking the KO on Palkia. Oh, you know what? That was a big misplay. I should have grabbed the Manaphy. Oh, okay. Never mind. Manaphy was in the prizes. Not as much of a misplay. It makes me actually seem smart. I was going to Quick Ball. I should have grabbed that Manaphy. So we can't just get sniped by Radiant Greninja. But the good thing about my play, at the very least, was I kept the Comfey in the hand. I didn't realize it, but, you know, I'm accidentally a genius. I kept the Comfey in the hand, so they can only take 1 guaranteed knockout here with Radiant Greninja. None of our other Pokemon can get KO'd by it, like 100%, which is really good for us. We can still have access to Comfey. We still have access to Spit Innocently. We're knocking out Radiant Greninja with Cramorant right now. So if they opt to bring it up and use it, they are not going to be in for a very good time because it's going to get return KO and they're going to have 0 energy on the board. Let's see if they drizzle out here for a Melanie or something so they can hopefully get the Starmie up and running. But even then, Swift for 50 isn't actually knocking anything out unless they set up the Cramorant in the active spot. So they are going to opt to grab that Melanie, which, hey, that's fine with me. The Melanie, the merrier, I guess. Go in Melanie as much as you want. I don't think it's going to be doing too much for my opponent. So they have Starmie here is a great card with the free retreat. Energy Spiral is good in decks that play a lot of energy, but we don't. so Energy Spiral not going to be doing too much to us here. But Swift for 50, it just might put a little bit of a foil in our plans. Grabbing a level ball to get another Sableye out. Now we very well might be able to start using Sableye here to set up my opponent's board for a big sweeping KO. But we'll have to take a look and see. We have our Psychic Energies still, and we have our Sableye still. We just haven't found them yet. Battle VIP Pass in the hand is good because of the Quick Ball. My opponent's going to go into Radiant Greninja here. Moonlight Shurikening, hopefully, probably the Cramorant and the Comfey. Yeah, that was the play that makes the most sense. They can take their 1 prize card, getting 2 more energy in the discard, but we can actually return KO with Radiant Greninja. Return KO this Radiant Greninja here. But I'm debating now, what do I want to do? I think I can actually Escape Rope here. And do we have them in the deck? We have 1 energy in the deck, so you know what? That's okay. No Colress in the hand. The best play, probably to grab another Comfey. Because we have the Scoop Up Net as well. So play this Comfey down. Play this Manaphy down. And I think we're going to, first and foremost, Escape Rope. And bring something else into the active because Greninja doesn't really pose much of a threat now. Because they can't accelerate to it. And they don't really have much they can do. We're going to Flower selecting here. Grab a Colress. That's exactly what we wanted to see. And we can use Colress. And grab Sableye, Colress, and Air Balloon. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, this is where we debate and we try and see what we can do. We're going to scoop up this Comfey for sure. And go into this Cram for sure. Now, do we just knock out the Sableye? That's the question. Or do we go for the Sableye play with another Comfey? I don't think it's really wise to do that. So we're going to put this Comfey down. We'll save this Choice Belt and this Air Balloon. And we're just going to Spit instantly and knock out this Sableye. Now, they can use their Starmie and get a KO here. That's fine. Ultimately, that's a really good card to grab to Escape Rope. Ultimately, they can knock us out with Starmie if they so please. That's okay with me. Bring another Palkia down. I really just want to get to the point where we can slap an Energy and Choice Belt on the Charizard and take a KO. That is ultimately my goal here. My opponent also has access to Shady Dealings, and Teleon is a one-prize attacker. However, it's going to take a couple turns to build up because they are literally just going to be manually attaching to it. Unless they play something weird like Blanche or something where you flip the coin, and then if you get heads, you can attach water energy from your discard pile. But we'll see what they decide to go into here with their Shady Dealings and Teleon. Maybe grabbing a cross switcher combo, but it's actually going to be a Melanie and a Boss. So they have a grand plan so far in this deck. Thankfully, we don't play the Charizard down, because if we played the Charizard down already, it would have given them a insane out to, what's it called? It would have given them a really crazy out to a KO, an easy KO. And now my opponent's going to have to grab another energy, and with the trading court, they have access to it, put it onto their Starmie, and hit us with Swift for the knockout here. Oh, but they're going to attach it to Greninja? I'm a little bit speechless about that. I can't say I expected that to happen, for sure. Now, I'm a little interested, I will say. They might boss up the Manaphy and try and take a KO. But they can't take multiple KOs right now with this Manaphy, unless they get a quick shooting Inteleon. But they're going to have the cross switcher, bring up the Manaphy, and maybe just get it ready to get KO'd. I don't know why they did that. They're going to be a knockout behind now, and they're not going to be able to take a multi-knockout, I don't think. I hope they bench another Sableye here, because then we can take 2 KOs and then kind of leave them in an impossible spot. That is my hope. I really do hope they level ball for a Sableye. No, they're actually just going to get a Drizzle. Okay. They kind of know. I think they fear the Sableye a lot here, because it can really change the tide of the game. And now my opponent's just going to get that Manaphy in the active. It's okay with me, but we kind of need to find a Scoop Up Net here. We do not, but we can grab a Cramorant for sure, Escape Up for sure, and I guess a Pokégear as well. Fog Crystal, not really needed at this moment. We have the Scoop Up in deck. Now we can retreat this Manaphy with the Air Balloon, just easy peasy, and we can try and find the Scoop Up Net. We don't find it. We find the Marnie, though. I think we're going to keep that because it'll give some good hand disruption later down the line. And now we can just escape rope into something. We might not take a knockout, but depending on what they go into, we can still set up their board. So that's probably the best play. We can go into the Cram. I don't think they realize how big of a mistake this is here. Go into the Cram, put the belt on it, and then we're just going to spit innocently, almost KOing it. And now, we've kind of just set up our board with Sableye. We can Sableye and take out the Starmie and the Sobble, basically just winning the game. Provided they knock out one of my Pokemon, which they have to do here, or else we can just hit again, take more prizes, and then win with Radiant Charizard down the line. They might want to Marnie us here, which would be a little bit terrifying, but then they can't boss anything. And they want to boss that Manaphy to hopefully get ahead in the prizes. That is their goal. So they're going to attach the Starmie here, which just kind of means they're going to go for the boss, I think. Unless they opt to cross switcher and Marnie or something like that. But we'll have to see what they decide to do. They're going to play the boss, taking out the Manaphy. And now, I think that's basically the game. If they take this knockout, that is the game. The game is over. But I don't even know if they can. See, Swift is only doing 50 damage. They need to get an energy on Greninja to knock out Manaphy. Maybe they're just trying to stall. If they're trying to stall, that is a different story. But they have the Capacious Bucket. They might just be trying to stall us out because we can't find our Scoop Up Net. Because granted, we have Lost Zoned none of them and played 3 of them. So they know we have 1 left. We know it's in the deck. But I think we actually have a decent chance of finding it with this Comfey here. Because we have access to Comfey, and we can also escape rope. At least we can take the 2 prizes here. Now, my opponent can Ultra Ball some cards away, grabbing what I assume is going to be Palkia V-Star. Could also be a quick shooting Inteleon. That is exactly what it's going to be. So for the next turn, they can knock out our Cram. And now they can maybe hit into this Manaphy and quick shooting it. That could also be their play. They might just be doing a big brain play like that. Now, basically this game's going to come down to if we can find the Scoop Up Net or not. We can Fog Crystal, grabbing a Sableye, thinning our deck more. We have 5 cards left. Do you think we're going to be able to find it? I genuinely do. Here's the Comfey, Flower selecting. No Scoop Up Net, really sucks. But we can actually Switch Cart. And potentially... Now let's see. Switch Cart switches. It helps the Pokemon that move to the bench. We can actually help with Cramorant. So we'll Escape Rope first. I'm going to put Inteleon here. I think we Switch Cart into Manaphy to stop them from taking that KO. Right? I think that makes sense. Now we Switch Cart into the Cram, healing our Manaphy, and then we can Marnie. And now my hope with this Marnie is that we get basically the perfect draws. We're going to see that Scoop Up Net, we see the Sableye, we see the Charizard, but we don't see the energy. So we're really just going to have to kind of find it now. But we can still spit innocently and set up a KO. I'm not super upset about that option, so we're just going to spit innocently. And boom, 140 damage. We can set it up for a hit-up KO with Sableye. Now, 2 of their Pokemon are set up for a Sableye KO here. Now, we're just going to have to see what they decide to do. We found that Scoop Up Net, so we can play down that Sableye, but they're going to take a knockout here either way. Whether we like it or not, a knockout is going to come. So, they might just opt to take out the Cramorant and start building up that Manaphy to get KO'd. Really not finding that Scoop Up Net there makes our lives a lot more challenging. Because they can just attach, retreat, go into the Starmie, and they can Swift us for a knockout. My opponent going to play Irida, though, grabbing what's going to be quick shooting Inteleon, I can only presume. And I don't know what their item would be. Maybe their item would be a... Oh, a Cross Switcher. Interesting. Okay, they're really getting prepared. But I'm actually not too upset about this. Because they can Shady Dealings, find whatever they want, We can bring up Comfey and just retreat into Sableye with the game, provided now that we find the Psychic Energy. So we kind of put ourselves in a little loop here of either just waiting to draw into something. They're going to grab the boss as well. So next turn, they're going to have a field day. We literally just need to find our Psychic Energy and we win the game. Out of 5 cards, I think that we can. Our Cramorant is knocked out. We have another one in case we need to take a knockout, but I don't think they can take 3 knockouts in a turn, so that's why I'm not super concerned. If we find the Psychic Energy, we win here. We don't. We have to Flower Select. We find the Psychic Energy, so that is going to be the game coming against my opponent. We have more than enough cards in the Lost Zone. We can Air Balloon this Comfey, can put down the Sableye, put on the Psychic Energy, retreat, and boom. Lost mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can do, I don't know, we'll just load up this Starmie and this Inteleon as well. Just do a little bit of overkill, taking a 3-price turn, and the Lost Box, it might seem like it was going down to the wire, right? It genuinely would, but Lost Box the deck is like that. You run through all your resources, so by the time you get to the final turn of the game, you have exactly what you need. So what do you think of my single prize Lost Box deck? After playing with the deck a lot, practicing for this video and building it and playing in this video, I really don't think there's a lot of changes you could do, but I will suggest some right now in case you want to switch up the deck a little bit. One card that you could absolutely add in here is Boss's Orders. Sometimes just escape roping isn't enough to target down what you want to KO when you have so many options to knock out Pokemon, such as Cramorant with Articuno support, Sableye with Lost Mine, or Radiant Charizard with Combustion Blast. You have a lot of options to do a lot of different kinds of damage, so having that in here could be very, very beneficial for you, having that Boss's Orders to target things down. Another card that could be very powerful in here is a 4th Articuno that lets you get to the 180 number, which can take out things like Crobats, Lumineon. It can take out some other smaller HP Pokemon V. Mew V is another big one, I believe. I think that has 180 HP. So that's another important card to note that you might want to KO with an additional Articuno. And the last thing that you might want to put in here is a Lost Vacuum, because Big Parasol can save your butt a lot, but can also hurt you. And I mean, if your opponent has one, it can really, really hurt you. If you're unable to Sableye for the win or something like that. Now, we have a lot of escape ropes, so we can get a Big Parasol Pokemon out of the active, but sometimes you can't. You know, you run through your resources really, really quickly. Sometimes you just cannot do it. So a Lost Vacuum in here can get rid of your opponent's stadiums, like a Collapsed Stadium or a Lost City, which can be very detrimental to your setups. It can get rid of your opponent's tool cards, like a Tool Jammer can also be very detrimental to your setups. And even your tool cards, if you need an additional card in the Lost Zone, you can utilize Lost Vacuum. I think that's something I might consider adding in here instead of maybe a Pokégear or something like that, because I find that you find your supporters very, very consistently thanks to all of our Comfey and switching. And without any further ado, that is the video. Like this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts on the Lost Box deck. What do you like? What do you dislike? What would you change? And what would you keep? And last but not least, subscribe to the channel. New Pokemon TCG content coming out twice weekly. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss it. And with all that said and done, Hitmonchanting out.